What's up, y'all? Welcome to Madhouse, and we're here with another video. It is Dr. Showman, the host, and we're going to be talking about influencers going broke because that's been happening a lot. If you want to see more videos like this or just want to support the channel, check out the Patreon. So let's check it out. Influencers going broke.
I never have ever in my life taken a brand deal. I'm a firm believer that influencers nowadays, unless you're the top 1%, they're broke. My influencer friends are texting me, hey, can I get into high ticket sales? Because it's a consistent cash flow side income driver. Meanwhile, influencer brand deals are very flashy. It's like a brand might pay you for a month or 2 months and they might not renew you. And you're all
That's so real. Like, if you're not the top 1% of these influencers or have multiple brands where you can serve brands in different ways or different types of brands in different ways, I think that it's going to get increasingly harder. To give you an example, Madhouse is another channel that I just made. This is a brand new channel. It probably has no subscribers yet at the time of you watching this. It may have subscribers now, but this was just an effort for me to build multiple brands so I could get more sponsorships in the door and build my media company. I'm thinking of what I do is more like I'm building a media company on social media, not necessarily like it's about me. And a lot of influencers, a lot of them are not going to be able to make this transition because to them, their whole thing was like, let me film myself, And I get that. That's what YouTube and all these platforms are supposed to be about, right? Broadcast yourself. But once Mr. Beast and some of these other creators came out, it changed the whole game. Some advertisers are probably spending $1 million a month on Mr. Beast content. So the rest of that money doesn't trickle down because there's not enough creators at that scale. So what you get is just a fracturing of the budgets because now they understand that some of you can't even convert your viewers into customers anyway. So why spend so much money, right? So I get where things are going.
always on a constant wheel of staying relevant, posting content, getting your deliverables through. So I stay away from the brand deals just to make the point that sales and starting my sales company has been the only income that has ever entered my bank account.
Quit my job nearly 2 years ago to live the...
So her talking about sales, right? And this is something that my media company actually is starting to get into. For a long time, we just relied on building the media infrastructure. We didn't even care about the money or the ad revenue. We were like, let's just get the viewers here and like make them stay, like become so relevant that we're relevant forever, right? Like, for example, I have a Minecraft brand. I've been posting content about Minecraft for years. Most of it like reposts of other Minecraft creators and then slowly making my own content. And next thing you know, no matter if I post 2 weeks from now or a month from now or 6 months from now, that audience is so potent. I'm not saying it will be like this forever, but Minecraft is one of those evergreen niches. It's so potent right now that I swear on my life, if I didn't post for 6 months and came and posted on Snapchat right now, I would get 1 million views. And that is unheard of for a lot of, and again, Snapchat doesn't pay you that well, but it's the leverage, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to take a break for 6 months. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm saying is that's how much confidence I have that me and my teams and the freelancers I hired built a really robust system, and then we can go in and figure out how to make money off of them, right? Whether we're running ads or getting into sales, and we can kind of like figure out how to make a market fit product or service for each brand we've created. So our approach was just a little different because at first I was just making content about me, vlogs, reaction videos. And then over time, that turned into an entire brand, right? Multiple entire brands that are completely different in their own way. Some of them I may be the face of, some of them may be faceless, but I'm always replaceable because my goal wasn't to necessarily be famous. My goal was to just get like get the media like even going, like getting the subscribers and the followers in the first place.
Her caption's really small. Her caption says, "I'm looking for a job again after quitting to become an influencer."
and become a full-time influencer and content creator, and now I'm looking for a job again. And today I'm going to tell you the brutal, unfiltered, honest truth about being a full-time influencer. First things first, no, this has nothing to do with money. Financially, I am doing the best that I've ever done. That being said, when I blew up on social media 3 years ago, I was working a full-time job, which was stressful, but one that I really loved. I had just gotten out of a very toxic relationship, so I was finding myself, and I'd also just moved into my first ever studio apartment. So there was a lot of life going on for me, which naturally inspired me to put myself out there and to start making videos. Like, I was actively living a happening life and I was processing it by talking about it on socials. I then blew up on Instagram and I managed both my job and my Instagram for a whole year. Finally, after doing it for nearly 12 months, I quit my job because it was taking up a lot of time. But on the other hand, my social media was paying so much more for like a third of the time. So quitting became the better financial decision to make, and also
Well, listen, I'm not mad at that. If it was, did she say it was paying 3 times more? Hold on.
it was taking up a lot of time. But on the other hand, my social media was paying so much more for like a third of the time. So
Oh,
quitting
it was paying more for a third of the time. That's cool. But if it's only taking a third of the time, right? I mean, you're working 8 hours a week, I'm assuming. So if it's only taking a third of the time, that's just what, another 3 hours? And this is why I don't understand. Why not just keep both? Then you'd be safe.
I really love what this guy's saying, because this is like, I had this mindset when I first started until I got into the media infrastructure mindset. At first I was like, man, I might as well just quit and go all in. And I did that, and I did go all in, and I did make I made crazy amounts of money. But then I started hiring people because I couldn't run everything. And then money started to run out quickly. And then shit in life started to go down. My girlfriend at the time, I kind of lost her. And then I went through like a depression phase where I just went broke and was drinking, smoking, just doing crazy stuff all the time. And then I finally had built myself back up to where I am now. And the cool thing is that through all that struggle, I built this media infrastructure, right? Even through all the BS that I was, maybe things I shouldn't have been doing, I had built something. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to keep a job like I've been since everything fell apart. Keep working, whether it's Lyft, DoorDash, or job somewhere. And that's what I've been doing. And now it's getting to the point to where the media infrastructure, because I have a certain mindset, I don't have to be there for a lot of the things that I've built. I still will have some say so, of course. I will still be filming, of course, but it doesn't hurt for me to have that part-time job and have the days where I film. And even if my content brands are making me $1 million, unless it just becomes too dangerous for me to be in my job, like I'm talking people are running in to try to take pictures with me or something, I think keeping the job just keeps a good structure. It keeps you conversating with people, interacting with people in real life, living real life. And the media stuff that I do is more so like, that's just part of something I've always wanted to do. I would rather be more like a James Cameron working on the next Avatar than I would a YouTube video. But I'm just using YouTube as my window. And hopefully, like, my media company becomes big enough to where I can fund my own movies, or I could get funding for movies, big picture films. So, like, it's, if you think about it, like, I'm not thinking about it from the perspective that I don't care about being famous. There was a point where, I will say when I started content, I was always passionate about filmmaking. But there was a point where I started filmmaking or content to feel accepted or validated. But now I don't have the thing where I need to be validated for what I do. Sometimes you just get so deep into what you're doing that you don't care about the validation anymore. it becomes like more of like, are you happy doing it? And over time, I just became more happier working on media in different ways. And that is just my thing. It's just like something that I know that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Regardless of any venture I go into, media will be a cornerstone of how I operate and live my life. It just means that like there will be a point where like there's probably hundreds of brands and I'm not involved. So I get what he's saying. Like there's no reason for you not to keep both unless your whole goal is to literally be a celebrity influencer and you don't want to have to do anything outside of influencing.
Stable, especially if you have a career. I don't know if y'all noticed, but in today's day and age, a lot of jobs aren't wanting to train anymore, especially careers. They're not in. You know how they used to say the middle class is disappearing? Entry level is disappearing with all this stuff that we have between AI, automation, the works. So I say that to say, if you could stay at a job and continue to get more valuable, because there's some things that's only going to take time. There's some things that you just got to put your time in. And so if you can continue to keep adding years to your experience and to your resume and ultimately to what jobs are looking for, then why not do both? And then you're also mitigating against the uncertain risks that appear to be looming coming soon in the future. That's what I don't understand. And you would have made you would have made all the money from both places. So you could live off one income and completely save or invest the other income. People have opportunities.
I love what he's saying. Again, same thing with me. Taking one income source, putting it over into like stocks or a CD or a Roth IRA, just cover yourself 30 years from now. But at the same time, you're still building in real time. You're still working in real time. We live in the best generation ever where things can move really fast. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't keep a job and build other multiple income sources. So you get to a point to where it's just like it's ridiculous. Like you're making like 50 grand a month. I just don't see how you couldn't do it. And this has come from somebody, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not cared about money in a long time. And I take that back. Everyone cares about money to a certain extent. So I'm contradicting. But what I mean is I don't care about money to the full extent that I'm trying to work so hard to have it in a sense that I need it right now. Like if I can have all my computer equipment that I have, which I bought with money, obviously, without debt, by the way. I like bought all this shit cash. So I don't have to worry about any debt. I look at it as I've set myself up, and anything else is extracurricular or clothes I want to buy or whatever. I feel like I earned it because I bought stuff that was going to make me money first versus, going and buying the cool stuff, so I waited.
Get ahead, but they don't take full advantage of it. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hide.
When people hear the words print on demand, they picture a graphic slapped onto a basic tee. But that's
On the other hand, my social media was paying so much more for like a third of the time. So quitting became the better financial decision to make, and also because everyone talks about freedom and working for yourself, and that is highly glorified. But even while quitting my job, I knew that this would probably be a temporary break for me to explore what being a full-time influencer would be like. Now, after quitting, it took me nearly 6 to 8 months to just get used to how much time there was in my day. Unlike what a lot of influencers say, our work does not actually take a lot of time. We do not have to get stuck in traffic for 3 hours every single day. We can go on holiday anytime. Social media is not that hard, okay? And I'll be the first to admit that. And I did have a few productive months where I was, sharing my life and I still loved what I was doing. But now I've officially reached that phase where this can't be what I do full time. No matter how incredible social media is and being an influencer is, and how amazing it is to get PR packages and get invited to events and portray this glam life that, yes, influencers do have, we as humans also need pressure and contrast and friction in our life, especially as a creative person. person, I realized that I need to have a happening life that I'm deeply engaged with in order to be
Yeah.
inspired to come and talk to you about it. I've been trying to make a creative
I love that. I love what she's saying. Everything is so real because that's exactly how I feel about having a job as a content creator or a media owner. I rather have that friction and creative ability and being able to be around people in a job, even if it's part time. Like I said, I work a part time job. I might do some DoorDash or Lyft, but my mindset, I have a particular mindset, right? I have a particular mindset, and that mindset is, again, I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to live this like certain type of life. So it's not this much pressure to be able to like go and work a job and not like people be feeling like, oh, I'm a nobody if I work a 9 to 5. You can have a 9 to 5 and still be, dude. There's people who probably have millions of dollars. You have no idea working 9 to 5 because it's just something they like. Or like, for example, there's people who are nurses out there, but their husband is a millionaire or a multi-millionaire, but they work their job as a nurse because it's just something they like to do, or they're passionate about healthcare, or whatever reason it is. It doesn't mean you can't be part of normal society unless you frame it that way. You're trying to be, I mean, if you're famous, if you get to the point to where it gets dangerous, I understand why you might need to quit your job. But if you can do everything you need to and it's not, you know what I mean? I don't think you have to quit your job or not have a job. There's a lot of influencers that make good money, but they're not known in real life, and people probably don't even care that much. So why not work a 9 to 5 and be around people and get to know people on a personal level that don't know you, like that get to know you outside of that other world you're part of. And I get it. It might seem like people feel opportunist, but even if they are, you can make them work for it. Okay, you don't have to be like, oh well, no, I can't hang with you because of, no, you can hang out with them, have a conversation, link up, but it's more so like with boundaries, right? They ask you to buy them something, just don't do it. Be like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe you know something about me, but hey, I just want you to know, I personally would like to be friends with you, and I can't solve your problems. Like, there's ways to articulate how you feel and what you want to say and have boundaries, even as a person with certain resources and wealth. And yeah, some people might try to rob you. I don't fucking know, but I don't know. You have to, and then also just reading people too. But I think you can live your life normal still, even if you become super big.
vlog of my day for weeks now, and I don't know what to do because my life is just waking up and checking my socials and probably doing a brand deal and then thinking about what to post, and this is not life. And it's been a bit of a hard realization because the reality is, no matter how I feel, I also don't know if I can actually go back to a job. I also don't know what kind of jobs to apply for, like what's the next step forward. No matter how much people glorify freedom and being your own boss and waking up with no to-do lists, I just happen to belong to that category of people who thrive when they are stimulated. So yeah, I'm excited to share that I am in the job market again, hunting and looking for opportunities, and I hope this video has opened your eyes in.
And you know what's crazy? It sounds like she was comfortable enough at her original job to where, honestly, obviously she was comfortable enough at her other job to where she was still making her content just fine, right? But here's the thing. She mentioned, oh, I wanted to get my time back. I wanted to get my time back. Here's the thing. You got your time back, and then now you have 24 hours every day, and you're done with work after 3 hours. And she's looking, that'll make you procrastinate worse. Y'all, work is a spiritual thing too. It's a great thing. And it gives you balance, it gives you structure, You know, do you know what the Most High says about work? You have to stop looking at work as if like it's an obligation to a boss or, to your supervisor. Right? Here's what the Most High says about work. Work is you have to view work as a service to God, right? So when you're working, you should look at that as a way to honor the Most High. And when you do that, I think it'll change your perspective. And that's ultimately.
So I want to say, I will say a working man don't eat, right? I do not agree with this individual here in this video. I've liked a lot of what he said, but this is just one thing I don't agree with, where it says that general work he could be seen as like for the Most High. I'm going to say this. I do not agree with what you're saying, but I will say it does give you structure. I agree with what you mean by when it comes to it gives you structure, right? It also, for me, gives you patience. It also allows you to think on things you are doing. Like if you're going to work for 3, 4, 8 hours and you get off and you work on something else, you get structure out of that. It makes you really want to structure out what your goals are, even for the next day. If you know your work schedule, and then you could say, hey, I know that I got to do this, and do that. So that way, when I go to work this day, I could just do some of the stuff I need to do to get it out there or whatever I got to do. I'm doing like the prep work, and then I'm doing the actual work before I go clock in. And you start to build a routine around that job in your life instead of procrastinating. So I get what he's saying. Like that structure is good because it teaches you discipline. So you want to get out of your job? Well, not yet, because you need to develop discipline skills. You need to develop certain things. And that's why I like a job. A job in a lot of ways helps me understand, hey, if you get off from work and you only got 3 hours to yourself, then you need to make those 3 hours work. And then maybe you got an hour of time to yourself and you go to bed. That's the main thing I would say, right? So I agree with what he's saying to that aspect, but I'm not going to say that all work is just like an honor to God. But in general, working is an honor to God, because a man that don't work, it don't eat. And if you can't eat, then hey,
What it just means to seek first the kingdom, right? Laziness is condemned, while diligence is encouraged. Work is a way to use God-given skills and experience to bring him glory. Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for men. So, when you're working, yes, it's going to feel monotonous sometimes. It's going to feel mundane sometimes. But you ultimately have to remember what you're doing it for. And I feel like what I just listed off is a great reason. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video again, only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know.
Nobody told you this. Not your teacher, not your dentist, not even the tooth fairy. But it's true. Once your teeth are gone, everyone says they're gone forever. But guess what? That's not the whole story. Because your teeth are made from a super cool mineral called hydroxyapatite. And if you give your teeth just the right ingredients, you can help them grow back stronger. You can rebuild your teeth. And I'm doing it with gum. Not just any gum. This one's called Larine Remineralizing Gum. And it's not candy. It's more like a toothbrush that fits in your pocket. Most people think,
I want to be an influencer. I want to get PR. I want to get free stuff. No, you do not. This is a 1099 that I got.
The caption says influencers are going broke and have to work regular 9-to-5 jobs.
In the mail yesterday. You know what this says? $63,000.
And it really be y'all favorite influencers that's getting regular jobs. Like, let's really talk about it.
So if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably would have heard that TikTok is about to get banned. And with that, there's a lot of content creators struggling to figure out what's next. A lot of them having to go get 9-to-5s. And that's what this video is about right here. A lot of content creators talking about why they have to go from creating content and being full-time influencers to going to work a 9-to-5 again. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video, react to it, and just...
I mean, that's where it's been going for a long time. For real.
Watch it together, pretty much. See what they got to say, and we can give our honest opinions on it. So let's go ahead and get right into this.
And it really be y'all favorite influencers that's getting regular jobs. Like, let's really talk about it. They're getting a job because it's temporary. Like the whole social media influencer thing is really temporary. Even for people who
I'm gonna be honest. You know, with the girl saying that, it's not temporary. It's just that it's always evolving, right? So people who don't adapt and can't peep what's going on, yeah, it's gonna be temporary for them. Also, you have to put yourself in a position where you get so big that it honestly doesn't matter if you don't post. Like, I'll be honest with you. I can go months without posting and I will get a million views on a post. Like, that's not every influencer because I don't consider myself an influencer. I consider myself a media owner. I own a lot of media, a lot of brands. So like my mindset isn't like, I don't even have to show up with my face for me to get a million views, you know? So that changes your perspective because that's not even an influencer. That's not even really a content creator, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I create the content or I hire someone to create the content, but they're distributing the media. So I'm more of a media owner. I'm like a media company. I own a media company like Disney or like Miramax. Like, I'm maybe purchasing content to distribute, you know, or I may be making the content myself, or I may be making faceless content where I don't have to be there, but I just do a voiceover. So I think just a lot of content creators aren't diversifying their skills, and all the influencers that made fun of me for, you know, diversifying. Even Facebook, like I go viral for Facebook news posts. You've all seen it, or like Instagram news posts. That's a whole nother revenue source for me. I even make music on Spotify, and that music goes into some of my content. So what's cool about that is that it allows me to kind of piggyback off that content to build other revenue streams, whether I insert products or sponsorships, UGC, whatever. So I built a really good moat, you know, and I think a lot of content creators didn't think about that.
who are really, really successful at it, like it only goes so far. It only lasts for so long. If you had to put influencers in a bubble, I would put them in a bubble with reality TV stars. Like they're not celebrities, but like they will be Ubering sometime soon. And even celebrities sometimes be having regular jobs or having businesses and stuff because that stuff is not temporary. That stuff is temporary. What is that braid doing now? But all jokes aside, I see a lot of people on social media talking about that they have a regular job, and I really don't blame them because you don't really know how long that your light is going to shine on the internet. Like you genuinely don't know. That's why you should take advantage of the opportunity, but make sure you're acting normal at home.
See, now I kind of agree with that. Now, having a 9 to 5 isn't a bad thing because at the end of the day, it's going to help fund.
I think in a lot of fields, right, especially in regards to entertainment, I think she brought up a good point, which was you really don't know how long your light is going to shine, is what she said. And that's true. But you can at the same time. I think what usually happens is a lot of people get complacent because I think a lot of people lose track as far as, especially when they first started and they were just trying to be the best that they could be. I think most people are just trying to maintain, right? If they did something good, they want to just match whatever they did good again. But I think the correct mindset would be to try to understand, how can I outdo myself? Imagine like an artist, right? Like a musical artist. And imagine they just have an incredible album, like a classic. And then it's like, don't they just try to like recreate that magic? Like, dang, I need another classic. Instead of having the mindset of always trying to one up themselves. I need to one up this. I think if they had that mindset of like, nah, that was good and all, but I need to even go past that level. I need to one up that. Then you could kind of mitigate against a lot of the uncertainty. But it ultimately just comes down to what you're doing. And again, why are you doing it? I'm just trying to you should just be trying to one up it just because you just want to work hard and you want to honor something. You right? But if you're just in it for the money, then it's going to be hard to have that same level of enthusiasm as well as that same perspective, you know, whenever you hit a rough patch, or, you know, when you hit a wall, ultimately.
That's real. That's real. I love what he's saying. By the way, if you guys like this video, I appreciate you. Make sure you check out, subscribe. I will see you on the next episode of Showman Finance. Peace out.